Welcome to my English podcast.
Learn, practice, and speak with confidence.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my English podcast. I'm Mia, and as always, I'm here with Max and our wonderful guest, Mrs. Tina. How are you both today?
Hey Mia. Hi listeners. I'm feeling good. I had some coffee so my voice is ready. And honestly, I'm pretty excited for today's topic. I think a lot of people will find it really helpful.
Hello, Mia. Hi, Max. And hello to everyone listening. I'm really happy to be here. Pronunciation is one of my favorite things to talk about. I know it worries many English learners, but small changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Today, we're talking about English pronunciation tips. Easy things you can do right now to sound clearer and more confident when you speak. You don't need to be perfect, but it really helps when people can understand you easily. So if you sometimes feel shy about your accent or you think, will people understand me? This episode is for you.
Yeah, I remember when I first started learning English, I thought I had to sound like a native speaker to be understood. But the truth is you don't. You just need to be clear. Even native speakers have different accents.
That's right, Max. People from the US, the UK, Australia, they all sound different. Even people from different cities in the same country have their own way of speaking. The most important thing is that you speak clearly enough for people to understand you.
I love that. So let's start with something simple. Mrs. Tina, what's the very first thing you tell your students about pronunciation?
Great question. The first thing I say is slow down. When we speak too fast, words run together and it's easy to make mistakes. If you slow down, you have more time to think about each sound. And people will understand you better.
That's a good tip. Sometimes I get nervous and rush my words. But when I slow down, even my friends say I sound better.
Me too. And listeners, you can try this right now. Say a sentence slowly and really listen to yourself. Maybe, hello, how are you today? It feels simple, but it really helps.
Yes. Another quick tip. Open your mouth a little more than you think you need to. English sounds are often bigger or rounder than in other languages. Try saying cat, dog, sun. Notice how your mouth moves.
I never thought about that before. When I say cat, I really have to open my mouth.
Me too. And I notice when I don't, people sometimes ask me to repeat myself.
Exactly. And don't be shy to practice in front of a mirror. Watch your lips and mouth. Are you making the shapes? It feels funny at first, but it helps.
That's a good exercise. So listeners, if you're at home, maybe try saying a few English words in front of the mirror. See what your mouth is doing.
Here's a fun one. I sometimes record my voice and listen back. At first, I didn't like the sound of my own voice, but it helped me find words I said clearly and words I needed to practice.
That's a fantastic idea. Even a quick voice message to yourself can help. Sometimes you hear things you don't notice while speaking.
It's true. So listeners, don't be afraid to use your phone to record yourself. Nobody else has to listen. It's just for you.
Mrs. Tina, what about tricky English sounds? Are there a few sounds that most learners find hard?
Definitely. One of the most common is the TH sound, like in think or this. Many languages don't have this sound. Here's a tip. Put your tongue gently between your teeth and blow out a little air. Tch. Try think 3, Thursday.
It feels a little strange, but it does work. And once you practice, it gets easier.
Yeah, the TH used to be my enemy. But I practiced with words like thank you, and now it's easier.
Another one is the V and W sound. For V, your top teeth touch your bottom lip, like in very or voice. For W, your lips make a small circle, like in water or window.
Let's practice, everyone. Very, water, voice, window. Did you feel the difference?
I still mix those up sometimes, but it's getting better.
Mistakes are normal, Max. Even after years, I sometimes mix up sounds in other languages. The key is to practice a little every day.
That's a good point. And for our listeners, don't worry if you can't get a sound perfect on the first try. Just keep trying. English speakers will still understand you most of the time.
What about word stress, Mrs. Tina? Sometimes I say a word and people don't understand, not because of the sounds, but because I put the stress on the wrong part.
That's very important. English words often have one part that's louder or stronger. That's the stress. For example, teacher, the first part is stronger, T-E-A share. If you say T-share, people might not understand. The same goes for record. As a noun, it's record. As a verb, it's record.
That's so true. Sometimes, even small changes make a big difference.
A fun way to practice is by listening to native speakers and repeating after them. Notice which syllable is louder. Songs and movies are great for this.
Yes, and shadowing helps. Listeners, try repeating after us now. Teacher, record, record. Notice how your voice changes.
This is fun. And it's easy to practice for just a minute every day.
Exactly. Little by little, your pronunciation will get clearer. Remember, no need to be perfect, just a little better every time.
You're all doing great. Let's keep going. Next, we'll share some more practical tips that you can use every day to sound clearer and feel more confident.
I think it's really helpful that we're practicing together, Mia. When I practice with someone else, I remember the words and sounds better. It's just more fun. Sometimes I even call a friend and we take turns reading short sentences or tongue twisters. Have you tried that, Mrs. Tina?
Yes, Max. Tongue twisters are a great way to practice tricky sounds. They're fun and they help your mouth learn new movements. For example, she sells seashells by the seashore, or 33 thirsty thieves. Don't worry if you can't say it fast at first. Start slowly. Speed will come later.
Let's try one together for our listeners. Everyone, repeat after me. 3 thin thieves thought of 1,000 things. That's a lot of TH sounds.
That's actually tricky. I almost messed up there. But it's okay to laugh at yourself. Practicing out loud, even making funny faces or silly sounds, really helps.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. When you try a new sound and it feels strange, it means you're learning something new. The more you practice, the easier it gets.
Sometimes I use my phone's voice recorder. I say the same sentence in English 3 times and listen back. I usually find one thing I can improve, but sometimes I hear that I sound pretty good.
I like that, Mia. Another thing I do is watch short English videos on YouTube. I pause after each sentence and try to repeat what they said in the same way. It's called shadowing, right, Mrs. Tina?
Yes, Max, that's called shadowing. It's one of the best ways to improve pronunciation, rhythm, and even your confidence. Don't worry if you don't catch every word. Focus on the music of the sentence, the ups and downs, the pauses, the speed.
That's a good tip. Sometimes I play a favorite movie scene again and again until I can repeat the lines with the same feeling. It makes learning English feel more like playing than studying.
And you start to feel like the actors, too. I remember watching a show where everyone spoke quickly. At first, I couldn't keep up, but after a few days, I was able to repeat their lines almost perfectly.
I'm so glad you brought up listening, Max. Listening is the secret key to great pronunciation. The more you listen, the more your brain learns the sounds and patterns of English, even when you don't realize it.
I agree. And for our listeners, you don't have to understand every word. Just listen, enjoy the sounds, and let your ears get used to English.
Maybe you can listen while you cook, walk, or relax at home. Every little bit helps.
Exactly. And here's a bonus tip. Sing along with English songs. Even if you're shy, singing helps you practice stress, rhythm, and pronunciation. Plus, it's a great mood booster.
I love that. I sing in the shower, and sometimes I don't even realize how much English I'm learning. Listeners, do you have a favorite English song? Maybe try singing a line today.
Speaking of music, Mrs. Tina, can you talk a bit about rhythm in English? I feel like English has a kind of music, a beat or flow.
Absolutely, Max. English is a stress-timed language. That means some words are said strongly and others are quicker and softer. For example, in the sentence, I want to go to the park, the main words are want, go, and park. The other words are softer, I to the.
So if I say, I want to go to the park, that's more natural than saying each word the same way, right?
Exactly, Mia. Try to dance with the language. Stress the important words and let the small words be quiet. It will help you sound more fluent and natural.
That makes a lot of sense. When I first learned English, I tried to say every word clearly and with the same strength. But it sounded strange. Now I focus on the strong words, and people say I sound more like a native speaker.
That's wonderful, Max. Remember, English is not just about the sounds, it's about the music and flow. Don't worry too much about small mistakes. If your rhythm is good, people will understand you even if your accent is different.
That's a relief. Sometimes I worry about having an accent, but it's more important to be clear and natural.
Exactly. Your accent is part of who you are. It's beautiful. Focus on clarity, rhythm, and confidence.
And honestly, I think a little accent sounds cool. I've met people from all over the world, and I love hearing different ways of speaking English.
Me too, Max. Listeners, your voice is unique. Don't try to erase your accent. Just work on being clear.
I love that, Mia. And listeners, here's one more quick tip. Practice common words and phrases you use every day. These are your power phrases. The more you practice them, the more natural you'll sound.
For example, good morning, how are you, can you help me? All the phrases you use often. Practice them slowly, then a little faster. Try saying them with a smile, in different moods.
That's a fun idea. Sometimes I say, "Hello, how are you?" in a happy voice, a tired voice, even a silly voice. It makes practice less boring.
Exactly. The more you play with English, the more confident you'll feel. And your pronunciation will keep getting better.
So listeners, just remember, practice a little every day, have fun with it, and celebrate every small win. You're doing great.
And don't forget to smile. It helps your mouth make the right shapes for English sounds, and it makes you feel good too.
Wonderful advice, Max. Let's finish this part with a quick practice together. Listeners, repeat after us. English is fun. I can speak clearly. My accent is unique and beautiful.
Perfect. You're making progress already. Let's keep going and share even more pronunciation secrets in the next part.
You know, Mia, sometimes I feel nervous when I have to speak English in public. My mind goes blank, and suddenly even easy words feel hard. I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Oh yes, Max. I feel that too, even now. It's normal to feel nervous. But something that really helps me is practicing a few phrases out loud before I go out, just to warm up my voice. Even just saying hello or thank you makes me feel ready.
That's a great idea, Mia. Warming up your mouth and voice really helps. You can even make silly faces or stretch your mouth, just like singers do. It might feel funny, but it gets your muscles ready for English sounds.
That makes sense. Sometimes I say the alphabet out loud just to practice all the sounds. A, B, C. It helps me relax.
I do that too. And, Mrs. Tina, I know many listeners worry about confusing sounds like L and R or B and V. Do you have any tips for practicing these?
Of course. Let's take L and R. For L, the tip of your tongue touches just behind your top teeth. Try saying light, love, lemon. For R, your tongue doesn't touch the roof of your mouth. It curls back a little. Try right, red, rain. Go slow and feel the difference.
Wow, I can feel the change. Light, right, love, red. It really helps to pay attention to my tongue.
Listeners, try it with us. Light, right, love, red. Take your time.
For B and V, put your lips together for B, like in that big boat. For V, your top teeth touch your bottom lip, like in very, van, voice. Practice saying both sounds together. That, big, vig, boat, vote.
That's actually a fun game. That. It makes it easier to remember.
And what about silent letters, Mrs. Tina? Sometimes English words have letters we don't say, like the K in no, or the B in thumb. That's confusing.
You're right, Mia. English has lots of silent letters. The best way to learn them is by listening and repeating. For example, no, knee, thumb, doubt. Don't worry if you forget, native speakers make mistakes too. Just keep practicing.
Sometimes I listen to a word in an online dictionary to hear how it's really pronounced. That helps me remember which letters are silent.
Yes, and there are so many free apps for that now. Listeners, if you're not sure, just listen and repeat. You'll remember faster.
That's very important. English words often have one part that's louder or stronger. That's the stress. For example, teacher, the first part is stronger, T-E-A share. If you say T-share, people might not understand. The same goes for record. As a noun, it's a-record. As a verb, it's record.
That's so true. Sometimes, even small changes make a big difference.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask someone how to say a word. People are usually happy to help.
Mrs. Tina, what's your favorite secret pronunciation tip for quick improvement?
I always say, connect your words. In English, we often join words together when we speak. For example, what are you doing? Sounds more like, what cha doing? Or do you want to? Sounds like, do you wanna? Try practicing these connections. They help you sound more natural.
Oh yes, I noticed that too. When native speakers talk fast, it sounds like one long word. But if you practice, it gets easier.
I like to listen for these connections in movies. I pause and repeat the sentence the same way. What cha doing? I dunno. It feels more real.
That's the idea. Don't worry if you can't do it perfectly at first. The more you listen and repeat, the more natural it will feel.
So, to all our listeners, try connecting some words today. Even a little practice helps. Max, let's do a quick practice. Repeat after us. Gonna go. Wanna eat? What you doing? I don't know.
Great job. Remember, English is full of these little shortcuts.
And they make you sound friendly and confident, so don't be afraid to try.
I hope everyone listening feels a bit braver now. You don't have to be perfect. Just keep practicing, keep smiling, and your pronunciation will get better every day.
Absolutely. Celebrate every small win. If you try a new sound today, that's a win.
We're proud of you. Let's keep going. There are more tips to share in our next part.
You know, Mia, after talking about all these pronunciation tricks, I realize a big part of improving is not just learning new sounds, but practicing them every day in different ways. Sometimes I practice when I'm alone, like while brushing my teeth, walking, or even just looking in the mirror.
That's so true, Max. And I want to add that using new sounds in real conversations is one of the best ways to make them stick. For example, if you practiced TH, try to use it when you say thank you to someone today. If you learned how to stress the right part of a word, use that word in a sentence with a friend or at work.
Exactly, Mia. Pronunciation isn't something you master in one day. It's about small steps and being a little bit better every week. Even if you just pick one sound or phrase to practice for the whole week, you'll see big progress by the end of the month.
I remember when I tried to learn the word world. I just couldn't get it right. I practiced by breaking it into parts, war and LD. I'd say it slowly at first, then faster. Finally, I used it in a real conversation, and someone understood me without asking me to repeat. That felt amazing.
I have a similar story with comfortable. I used to say every single letter, like comfort, A-B-L-E. But after listening to native speakers, I noticed they said C-O-M-F-table. It sounded so different. So I practiced until it felt natural. Now it just rolls off my tongue.
Those are wonderful examples. English spelling and pronunciation don't always match, so listening and practicing are key. And listeners, don't be afraid to sound a little silly while you learn. It means you're trying something new, and that's something to be proud of. Mrs. Tina, what about intonation? Sometimes I notice that the music of English changes meaning. Like if I say, really? With a high voice, it means I'm surprised, but if I say, really? With a low voice, maybe I'm not so interested.
That's a great point, Max. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice when you speak. It helps people know if you're asking a question, making a statement, or showing emotion. For example, you're coming. Statement and you're coming. Question use the same words but different intonation.
Let's give our listeners some examples. Repeat after us, everyone. Statement, you're ready. Question, you're ready? Excitement, you're ready.
That's actually fun to play with. I sometimes practice this in the mirror, making different faces for each way I say a sentence.
That's a wonderful way to practice. And remember, listeners, don't worry if you sound a little different from native speakers. What matters is that you are understood and that you feel comfortable. The rest will come with practice.
Let's talk about another common challenge. Pronouncing words with lots of consonants together, like strengths or 12th. These can be tricky even for native speakers.
Oh yes, strengths was always tough for me. Sometimes I just slowed down and said it one piece at a time. Strn, GTHS. Eventually it got easier.
That's the perfect way to practice, Max. When you see a long word, break it into small parts. Say each part slowly, then put them together. Over time, your mouth will learn the movement.
And if you still struggle, that's okay. You can always use a different word or phrase until you feel ready. Communication is more important than perfection.
I agree. And remember, it's okay to pause or take your time when you speak. People will wait. They want to understand you.
That's right, Max. And here's another tip. Don't forget to breathe. Sometimes we rush and lose our breath, which makes words harder to say. Take a small pause between thoughts. It will help your voice sound clearer and your pronunciation more natural.
That's such good advice. Sometimes I even forget to breathe when I'm nervous, and everything gets harder. So listeners, don't rush, slow down, breathe, and enjoy speaking.
Let's give everyone a little exercise. Listeners, try reading a sentence out loud slowly, pausing after each phrase. For example, today I will speak English with confidence and a smile. Did you feel how much easier it was?
Wonderful, Max. Pausing gives you time to think about each sound and makes your English sound smooth and natural.
Before we finish, I'd love to share one more pronunciation secret. Smiling while you speak actually helps your pronunciation. It relaxes your mouth and helps you make English sounds more easily.
That's true, Mia. When I smile, my voice sounds happier and my words are clearer. Plus, people like talking to someone who's smiling.
Smiling is the best pronunciation tool you can have. It works in every language.
So as we wrap up today, let's review what we learned. Slow down and listen to yourself. Open your mouth and practice new shapes. Focus on tricky sounds and break hard words into parts. Shadow movies, songs, or podcasts. Pay attention to word stress and intonation, idioms. Connect your words like native speakers do. Don't worry about mistakes, just keep practicing. And most importantly, smile.
We hope everyone listening feels a little more confident now. Even a small improvement in pronunciation can make a big difference in how you feel and how people understand you.
That's right, Max. And remember, your accent is a beautiful part of you. Focus on being clear, not perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have a favorite pronunciation trick, or if you want to share your progress, send us a message. We love hearing your stories.
And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend or practice these tips together. You'll see progress faster and have more fun.
That makes sense. Sometimes I say the alphabet out loud just to practice all the sounds. A, B, C. It helps me relax.
You did it! You're making progress every time you practice, even if it's just for a minute.
We're so proud of you. Remember, learning is a journey. Celebrate every small step.
And always keep smiling. You're doing better than you think.
Thanks for being with us on My English Podcast. We can't wait to see you next time. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep speaking English every day.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye and happy practicing.